Bonjour tout le monde. Today we're going to be looking at a very, very important skill. This is something that you will be using for year 9, 10 and 11 and perhaps even further into your French education if you choose to continue after that. Using this particular technique, you will be able to talk at length about any subject in the past tense. Quite often what we hear from our students in years 10 and 11 when they're asked to talk about something that recently happened or happened in the past, they say, but I don't know where to start or I don't know how to get going. So we put our thinking caps on and we came up with the 1, 2, 3 structure. If you follow these 3 steps to talk about what you have done recently, you will get all of the information you need into your answers and access full marks and full content every time you come to complete an activity. Let's have a little look at what the 1, 2, 3 technique actually is. For answering questions in the past tense, we're going to follow 3 steps. Step 1, you're going to say where you went. You might also want to add when or who with, but you're always going to say where you went. Step 2, you're going to say what you did. To make this as good as possible, we're going to try and use 2 examples where we can, but we're going to say what you did. And finally, you're going to say how it was. You're going to give an opinion. And we do that by using this word c'était that we've seen before, which means it was, and an adjective. If we think about an English example here, imagine you were asked the question, what did you do at the weekend? At the weekend, I went to the cinema with my family. I watched a film and we ate popcorn, is what I did. In my opinion, it was fun. I've given my opinion with an adjective. At the weekend, I went to the cinema with my family. I watched a film and we ate popcorn. In my opinion, it was fun. This will work every single time. Let's look at another example in French. Here you've been asked the question, what have you recently done at home? Or what did you do recently at home? Here's my answer. Hier, dans ma chambre, j'ai regardé un film sur mon ordinateur. C'était très amusant. Yesterday, in my bedroom, I watched a film on my computer. It was very fun. And we can see that we've labelled here for you the 3 steps of the 1, 2, 3 technique. Step 1, where you went, my bedroom. We've also added yesterday to say when. Step 2, I watched a film. Step 2, I watched a film. What you did, I watched a film. And step 3, how it was very fun. I've used c'était to say how it was. Now you should have seen in your booklet and in a previous video how to form the past tense. We're not going to focus on that in today's video, but I have given you a reminder in this handy little diagram of how to create the past tense. This is also printed in your booklet and you can go back and check there. I've given you some time phrases to use for today's activities and I've reminded you here of how to say it was. So we're going to keep this diagram in mind as we work through our activities today. The first thing we are going to do is look at some examples in French of sentences that use the 1, 2, 3 technique. Some are better than others. What I would like you to do, and we're going to do some of these together before I let you go on your own, what I would like you to do is find and label anywhere that you can see steps 1, 2 or 3 from above in these examples. Remembering step 1 is where you went, step 2 is what you did, and step 3 is how it was. Let's look at the first example together then. Hier, je suis allée à Norwich avec ma mère et j'ai fait du shopping. Hier, we can see here, hier means yesterday. Je suis allée, I went to Norwich with my mum and I did shopping. So have we got step 1, where I went? Absolutely, we've got Norwich here, so we can label this bit here as step 1, I went to Norwich. This person's been really clever. They've added in an extra detail. They've said who they went with. We carry on. I did some shopping. They've said what they did. We've got step 2 there, haven't we? I did some shopping. In this example, has this person included a step 3? how it was? No, they haven't. They've just got steps 1 and 2. So there's definitely room for improvement here, but we've identified steps 1 and 2. Let's look in the next sentence. Which steps can we find in here? J'ai joué au foot avec mes amis et nous avons mangé la glace. C'était très fatigant. I played football with my friends and we ate ice cream. It was very tiring. Okay, so step 1. Anywhere in this sentence can we see where we went? No, we can't see that. So we don't have a step 1. Step 2, what you did. Well, we can see I played football. There's step 2. We can also see we ate ice cream. That's another step 2. It was very tiring. That's telling us how it was. So that's step 3. So this person's included some nice developed step 2s. We've got 2 examples of things that they did. And they've got their opinion, how it was, using an intensifier, but unfortunately, no step 1. We'll look at the third one together, and then I will leave you to do the last 2 yourselves. La semaine dernière, au collège, j'ai regardé une vidéo en cours d'histoire. J'ai adoré ça. Last week at school, I watched a video in history class. I loved it. Last week at school. That's step 1, isn't it? Where I was last week at school. I watched a video. Oh, that's step 2. I loved it. Oh, so here I've not said it was great. I've said I loved it, but I've still given my opinion. I've said how it was. I've just done it in a different way. So that is step 3. Okay. This sentence then has everything we're looking for. Let's see if you can see how many steps there are in activities D and E. Pause the video here, have a go, and then come back and check your work. Here, we're going to look at exercise D. Hier matin, en anglais, j'ai étudié un poème et je pense que c'était vraiment passionnant. Yesterday morning, in English, I studied a poem. I think it was really exciting. Yesterday morning in English. Oh, so that's where I was. I was in English, so that's step 1. I studied a poem. Oh, that's what I did. And I'm using my past tense. I've got a reminder up here of how to create the past tense with my auxiliary verb and my past participle. Remember, there's a previous video on that. I think it was really exciting. It was, followed by an adjective. That's giving my opinion how it was. That's my step 3. That's a lovely example of the 1, 2, 3 technique. And finally, in E. Le week-end dernier, j'ai fait mes devoirs dans ma chambre. C'était extrêmement rasant. Last weekend, I did my homework in my bedroom. It was extremely boring. Last weekend, that's when, okay. I did my homework. Ah, that's what I did. That's step 2. I did my homework in my bedroom. Oh, step 1's there. That's okay though, doesn't matter, I've still got it. Doesn't matter what order I do it in. It was extremely boring. Step 3. So here I've got 2, 1, 3, but it doesn't matter. I've still got my 1, 2, 3 technique in my sentence. That's a lovely sentence. Hopefully you found all of those as well. We're going to move on to our next activity. In this next activity, I would like you to translate these 1, 2, 3 sentences. All of these sentences have the 3 steps we're looking for. Where you went, what you did, and how it was. We'll do the first example together and then I will leave you to do the next 2 yourselves. Okay, so example number 1. Récemment, en cours de français, j'ai parlé avec mon ami. À mon avis, c'était très amusant. Remember, you can use your core knowledge if you're stuck at any point on any of this language. But let's have a look. Recently. Here's a compound noun that we've seen before in French lesson or in French class. Here's a past tense. I talked with my friend. And here's step 3, à mon avis, one of those lovely opinion starters we've been looking at since our media topic. In my opinion, we know that c'était means it was. Très is an intensifier, very, and amusant is fun. Recently in French class, I talked with my friend. In my opinion, it was very fun. We've done that first example together. See if you can't do activities B and C on the next page yourself. Pause the video here and then you'll be able to come back and look at my answers. Good luck. Okay, so let's go back here to activity B. Hier, pendant la récréation, j'ai joué au basket avec mes amis. J'ai trouvé ça super. Okay, so this is where I went. This is what I did. And this is my opinion. So steps 1, 2, and 3 are all in there. I can check my time phrase above. Hier is yesterday. During break, so that's where I was at break. I've got my past tense verb. Again, I can check that in my grid above. I played basketball with my friends. And although I'm not using it was, I do have an opinion here in the past tense. Bit trickier this, see if you worked it out correctly. I found it super. I found it super. Of course, there you could have said c'était super. It was super. So 2 different ways of doing that. And on to the next page, activity C was also a sentence in French for us to translate. We have step 1, where we went, step 2, what we did, and step 3, how it was. So we know we've got our 1, 2, 3 technique here. Let's go through and translate. Yesterday morning, and we can use again our diagram on the previous page to check our time phrases. Yesterday morning, I went to Norwich with my class. And we're into step 2 with our past tense verb. We visited the castle. Opinion starter, we've seen these before. I think that. We know that c'était means it was. And if we cast our minds back to our intensifiers from our media topic, un peu means a bit boring. And this is a fantastic example. All of those lovely extra skills we would look for. 2 different activities that I did. 1, 2, 3 technique really clearly present in there. All right, we've got 3 more examples here. Let's have a little look. In D, E, and F, I've got some English sentences. I want you to pause the video here now and take 30 seconds to go through and annotate each of these sentences. Where is step 1, 2, and 3 of your 1, 2, 3 technique? Then come back and check that you've got those right. So, where am I? I'm in a maths lesson. What did I do? Step 2, I listened to music. And what's my opinion? It was very relaxing. For activity E, I was at school, that's where I was, step 1. Step 2, I was studying mountains, that's what I was doing. And step 3, I found it, this is my opinion, I found it quite interesting. And finally, in this, the most complex of the examples, where was I? I was in Norwich. What did I do? Well, we ate some pizza at Pizza Express. And what's my opinion? It was extremely delicious. Okay. I would like you please to take a moment, using your core knowledge if you need to translate sentence D. You can use the previous examples, A, B, and C, see if any of that language will help you. You can use your core knowledge, and then you can come back and check. Here we are then, recently in maths lesson. Récemment, en cours de maths, compound noun. I listened, past tense, j'ai écouté la musique. Opinion starter, we've seen those. Je pense que. It was, c'était. And then we've got our intensifier, very, très, relaxant. Brilliant. Activity 2 then. Again, you can use your core knowledge. You can use anything you've seen previously in this video. Pause the video now. Take a moment to see if you can do this one and then come back and check with me. Okay, so our time phrase yesterday, we should be getting used to using this one now. It's in the green box on the previous page. Hier, at school, au collège. I studied, j'ai étudié. And you may need to look this one up. You may needed to have looked this one up in your core knowledge. Mountains, les montagnes. En géo, or géographie. Okay, I found it. Well, I find that is je trouve que, so we're going to do I found, j'ai trouvé. This is tricky. J'ai trouvé ça. Quite is assez. And intéressant. And remember, of course, if you're thinking, gosh, that's a little bit too tricky for me, you could instead say, in my opinion, it was quite interesting. All right. And our last example here from English into French. Again, take a moment, pause the video, have a look, use your core knowledge and your booklet to help you, and then come back and check your work. Right, last weekend, we've got le weekend dernier. And we've seen I went to Norwich. We saw it in activity C, and we also saw it in a previous exercise A as well. So I went to Norwich le weekend dernier. Je suis allée à Norwich with my family. This one's a bit trickier because it's not talking about what I did, it's talking about what we did. So you may have needed to look at your past tense box in that green diagram or in your booklet. Here we say nous avons mangé a pizza, une pizza at Pizza Express. Lovely. I must say that. This is a really lovely opinion starter. See if you can remember it. Je dois dire que. It was, we're getting good at using that one now, extremely, a lovely intensifier. And then delicious. Délicieux. Brilliant. Okay, and there we have it. All of these are really good examples. We can see that from activity D through to activity F, our sentences have got more complex. The person in activity F is trying some perhaps trickier structures, some more complex opinion starters, and so on. But all of these examples clearly demonstrate the use of the 1, 2, 3 technique. So this last activity is up to you. You can then share it with your teacher. It may well be set for homework, or you could do it together on the board once you've all had a go, once you've paused this video. Here I've included a question. What did you do recently at home? And here's an example. I watched a film in my bedroom. It was interesting. That sentence answers the question, but does it go far enough? Does it include as many of those lovely details and that 1, 2, 3 technique as it can? I've reminded you of some of the skills you've learnt about, and I've reminded you of some of the skills that you've seen in previous videos down here. Take the time now in your booklet to improve this answer in the space provided, and then see if you can't share it with your classmates, your partner, or your teacher perhaps on the board. When you've done that and you're feeling really confident with this video, make sure that you re-watch it again at home to refresh your memory. Your teacher will set you the homework sheet from the booklet. You'll be able to follow the QR codes to practice using the Google Doc. You can go on to Quizlet, and there will also be a homework sheet in your booklet as well to complete. Good luck, and I will see you next time. Au revoir.